And thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Hawkeye, and this is Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And right now I'm going through horror films of 1982, kind of the ones on my list I seem to enjoy the most that I have seen. Certainly haven't seen every single horror film out there, but I've seen a lot of them. And that is The Sender. I'm going to do a review for this one here. And this one definitely, I would say, is a hidden gem. I never seen this film till about literally a month ago. I came across it, looked for it, found it, watched it, really enjoyed it, and it did not do very well at the box office. I'll get into that. Um, but yeah, here we go. This is The Sender. It was actually the directorial debut theatrical film for Roger Christian. Was this film here? And I gotta say, this is a really very good debut for someone. I don't think I've actually ever seen any of his other films. To name a couple that he's done from the 90s, there was Battlefield Earth. That might have been 2000. And the Final Cut, that might have been the mid 90s. But he's certainly done some other films. But as I said, I haven't seen any of his other films up to this point. And the screenplay was done by Thomas Baum. He went on to write the Manhattan Project, mid 80s. Haven't seen that one in a long time. As well as he worked on the TV show that I remember, The Hitchhiker. I think that was HBO show back in the 80s, maybe the early 90s. Might have been like a half an hour show going through The Hitchhiker. Now, it was distributed by Paramount Pictures. Originally, it was supposed to be 20th Century Fox, but they dropped it. They didn't want to do it. And then I think I read 3 days later, Paramount stepped in and said, okay, we'll do it. And then it seems like it seems to be something going on with this film. Um, they I don't know if they had a whole heck of a lot of interest in it as well. But certainly looking at it, it being Paramount, they had big hits like Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2 by this point, as well as My Bloody Valentine, another good slasher. Um, right here in the last year or two before this film, and I think they were looking to cash in again with a slasher. Thing is, this is not a slasher. I'll get into that, the story, and I don't know. They may have had a misconception of exactly what kind of film this is, or if it really came down to that, or if it was just horror, we're going to cash in on that. Then that's totally fine. But this definitely isn't a slasher for sure. It was released on October the 22nd, 1982 to theaters, and I don't think it was released to too many. I think they didn't have a very good initial showing to the film. Um, I think studio executives had a different idea on how this film should have been shown to audiences. Personally, I have no problem in how the film was put together. They're calling it artsy. Okay, whatever. That doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy the film um, just because it isn't a brainless slasher, if you will, and that it is not. Now, this film had a budget of $8 million back in 1982. When you convert that into 2025, that would be a budget of $26.7 million. Now at the box office, it this was a bomb. Uh, Paramount lost money on this one. Um, for sure, it only made $1 million at the box office, or in today's dollars, that would be only $3.3 million. So there's no way it was due to nobody wanting to see it. I just don't think it was quite as available as some other films at the time. So it wasn't in all markets. My guess is I'm not 100% sure, but that's not a very good showing at the box office whatsoever. So I would definitely say this film though is ahead of its time. This is pre Nightmare on Elm Street. I got Freddy Krueger over there. You can't see him, but you can see the outline. Got a poster of Freddy over there. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. A few of them are I give the thumbs up to, not all of them. It was a bumpy road, I guess you could say. Um, but Friday the 13th, it was the Wes Craven ones that I really enjoyed or loved. He knew that character, he knew what was going on. But this is before Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's dealing with dreams. And this film also has some very good imagery that sticks with you. Um, Minus Freddy, he's obviously not in this film, um, but it's pre Nightmare on Elm Street, and it may have influenced Wes. It may not have at all. In particular, maybe even Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, um, is kind of the one in particular that it would be maybe the most light. It's not anywhere close to saying, hey, wow, those are so similar. But it's just the dreams and the setting that are similar with these two films. Now, I'm going to get into the story here. And the story is about a man. Now, before I've seen this, I didn't know who this guy was. He's been in a lot of stuff. I think he's been in over 150 projects, but this was his first film he was ever in. And I apologize if I don't pronounce his name correctly. I think it's Jelko Ivanek. Um, but he's playing this very sad, very mysterious man um, that wakes up next to a road. And then you, as the viewer, it's another one of those slow burn films that, as the film progresses, the story reveals things about him and about his character. But his performance, I think, is terrific. He does a fantastic job in this role, and I'm glad he was able to stick with acting because um, I don't think I've seen him in anything else, or if I had, I just don't remember him. I saw he might have been in a couple Law and Order shows. I used to watch that back in the day. So maybe I have seen him, but whew, I thought he was terrific in this. And if you really enjoy him in this role, I don't see why you wouldn't really enjoy this film at the same time. Now, yeah, it's a very sad and mysterious opening. As I said, he wakes up next to a road, but then he walks down to this beach, and everyone is just watching him. Um, and he fills these big rocks into the pockets of his jacket, and maybe even his pants, and he goes and walks into the lake as he wants to kill himself. So it's quite a grabbing opening for sure. It's got your attention, no doubt about it. But it does its job in drawing you into the film. So that's where we start off. So he ends up in a mental hospital because he tries to kill himself. And he meets Dr. Gail Farmer, played by the lovely Catherine Harold. I think he was in Steve McQueen's final film, The Hunter, which I have not seen in many, many years. But she was in quite a few other projects as well. But there's a connection made between the two of them and John Doe. We never actually even find out what his real name is, which is incredible. He knows nothing about himself, but he seems to know he's got a mother. He remembers the mother, he knows about her, but he doesn't really know much else about himself. Um, but we come to find out he's got this crazy power where he's actually able to put images and thoughts into your mind, um, more or less when he's sleeping as well. And you can be fully awake. I mean, you don't have to be asleep, but he puts these images into your mind, um, and it seems like they're happening or what you're seeing is real. And it may not be. So it's a pretty cool premise going on there. Um, and this is where the Nightmare on Elm Street similarity happens, if you will, as at times it's in a dream or a combination between reality and dream or conscious and subconscious, perhaps. Stuff like that, where it's really good. Now, others at the hospital along with him, a couple that stand out, or they were kind of more the main patients as well. There's one played by Sean Hewitt. Uh, I remember him from, and I think he was in Battlefield Earth as well with Roger Christian. But I remember him from a Canadian television show for kids called Read All About It. And he was the villain called Dunedin, and he was like a floating head with no body, which is really interesting because in this film, and I think this was like right after he did that show, he gets, you never hear it or know exactly what's said. You don't hear it, but John Doe puts in his head that he's going to cut his head off. So Sean Hewitt's walking around like this, like the whole movie, because he doesn't want to lose his head. So it's interesting that I remember from Read All About It where he was a floating head. So it's interesting. And he's a great actor too. Does a really good job in this role. And as well, there's Al Matthews, who was later in the Fantastic Aliens from James Cameron. This character, he was in Vietnam and he is dealing with some serious PTSD issues with that war as well. So, now with John Doe, as I said, as the story progresses, you found more things out. Um, and certainly the one thing, the big, huge, enormous thing is his mother. And she is played by Shirley Knight. She puts in a very nice, spooky performance. Really adds the nice add in the horror elements, certainly to the film with her character. And she actually got an Oscar nomination for her performance, and she does a very fine job in that role. But we find out that she is, in fact, dead. She's not alive, but she's visited the hospital a couple of times. She's talked to John Doe. She's talked to Dr. Farmer. So what's going on here? So that's really interesting. And then you find out certainly about John Doe's powers. And then it comes down, in the end, a showdown, if you will, in the house between the mother and son, and him realizing or needing to drop the fact that his mother is dead, come to that and allow her to be dead, you know. Don't try and make her still alive. But yeah, so then the ending is wrapped up into this nice, pretty bow and everything. Everything is successful. He then is let out of the mental hospital as he's, hey, I understand, my mother's dead and what I need to do to live my life properly. And he goes out to his truck, and sitting beside him is his mother, which is cool because I think it's like right at that point he has then recreated her again, or putting that image in his mind. Once he's out of the hospital, he knows how to get out of there, and then he can just live his life the way he wants to, which may not be the best way. That is for sure. And she is very overbearing and really in control of his life, or certain elements of his life. Absolutely. Now, as I said, this is not a slasher. It's more of like a psychological horror, right? Um, but if you don't count the mother, and I wouldn't because she's actually dead before the movie starts, there are absolutely zero kills in this film. So I don't know. um, I wouldn't even try and make a slasher that has zero kills. It probably wouldn't work out very well. But there's no kills in the film at all, and I think it's got. I would definitely say it's got some scariness going on with it. Christian does a very good job. It's very well made and very well filmed. I'm not sure who the director of photography is. I forgot to look that up, but it does a very good job and bringing that out for you. Now, couple of things here that I really loved. I love the scene when Dr. Farmer, um, she's looking for John Doe's mother. But no, he's seen her. She goes out to the front desk. There's a nurse sitting there, and they're talking. And in front of the nurse is like a TV screen. And if you look on that screen, you can see a person walking away from the camera, has like dirty blonde hair and a navy blue or dark blue dress. She looks like that could be his mother. And then you just have to say, is that his mother? Even though she's dead, it could be because John Doe's putting that thought in your mind. So I really like that as well. And I love the scene when they go in to give John Doe shock treatment, and everyone in there uh, performing this on him. They're all like violently thrown away from his body, each and every one of them. Even Dr. Denman, played by Paul Freeman, who was just a year previous was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, playing Belloc. That would be the role I would remember him the most in for sure. But he's actually thrown off his body and thrown through a pane of glass and everything. And it's a very good job in using slow motion. It's very effective in this scene in using that. It really makes the scene more memorable, I think, in using that. And I kind of find it funny as well that when John Doe is having a nightmare, the shit hits the fan, and everybody in the hospital knows he's having a nightmare. Um, I thought that was kind of funny as well, in a dark sort of way, if you will. And then the music to the film is pretty good and up to like excellent. It's done by Trevor Jones. He did a couple of Jim Henson films, The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. Um, I even find at the beginning of the movie, like the music, I think with the credits, it's very moving. And then you meet John Doe laying on the side of the road. I think the music is definitely a plus to this film for sure from Trevor Jones. And then other directors through the years who are, I, I guess, big fans of this film. There's George Miller, who did the Mad Max films. I've done a review for four of those. And then there's Quentin Tarantino and Guillermo del Toro. I apologize. They're all big fans of this film as well. And that is The Sender. And then in the cast as well, just to name these people as well, there's Marsha Hunt, um, who I did a review for Howling 2. I remember her from that film. Didn't like the film. I liked her in that movie though. But she's in this as well as Agnes McInnes. He was in Star Wars and Strange Brew. Very funny. Bob and Doug McKenzie. That might have been done the following year, SCTV film. And Manning Redwood, who was in The Shining. Absolutely beyond love that film from Stanley Kubrick. So yeah, that's it. That's The Sender. So yeah, definitely look for this film. Certainly hope you've seen it. But definitely one I would say to go and find it and watch it because this is one that definitely didn't get its what it deserved when it came out. And after the years, I think it's just got um, a following, maybe a little bit. But I definitely really enjoyed this film. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, I'd appreciate it. You could hit the thumbs up or hit like. I would appreciate it if you subscribe as well. That'd be awesome. And then there's other videos I have on here as well, dealing with horror and science fiction here in Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And if you want to comment on anything, go ahead and do so. That'd be great. But until next time, woohoo, enjoy your movie watching.